We're now moving on to our second out of the 4 startups, carbon. The floor is yours. Yeah, I will tell you.
Okay.
You have 5 minutes. I'll give you 2 and 1.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon. So what does it mean to have a low-carbon economy? Well, at its core, it means there's a price on carbon. As we transition to a low-carbon economy, it's already happening. 30% of the global, over here, 30% of the global economy is already controlled for emissions in every major economy where there's a formal price on carbon. Thousands of companies use an internal carbon price because of regulations requiring disclosures of the risk and exposure to carbon risks. And there's carbon border taxes, which force companies to understand their exposure to the emerging price of carbon. And there's voluntary commitments from businesses. You hear about these net zero carbon targets that require companies now to buy carbon credits. This is a balance sheet exposure. It's $2 billion today. It goes up 15 times over the next 5 years. It determines access to financing, the cost of your financing, and your ability to operate in any number of markets. The problem is, as carbon has transitioned from the sustainability officer's desk to the financial officer's desk, there's no infrastructure to provide for managing and operating in this risky environment. 99% of credits are locked into silos in jurisdictional markets in 90 different markets around the world. Each market has its own set of rules, its own set of regulations, and its own set of application requirements, which make it essentially inaccessible for anyone but a big institutional trading desk. The credits in these markets aren't fungible because they embedded within the ton of carbon in the carbon credit is the attributes of the individual market in which those credits are issued. So you can't move markets fungibly from one use to another. And finally, the current market structure provides unreliable quality because businesses trying to offset and traders seeking investments are limited to a very small part of the market for project credits. And this is what we all hear about when you buy a plane ticket that says, do you want to offset your credits? It's trees in Brazil, it's wind farms in India. But this supply chain is fundamentally broken because the credits don't always provide a real environmental benefit. They're difficult to access. There's a hugely conflicted supply chain with lots of intermediaries that want you to buy their credit but can't guarantee the underlying quality. So the solution is a commoditized carbon asset. It's the next generation of carbon. And we achieve this with a patented business process using a central bank structure. We have a central bank in Switzerland, which holds carbon permits issued by any number of regulated regimes around the world. We record in a distributed ledger the tons of carbon that we own, and we tokenize it, creating the world's first fully collateralized carbon token that is both environmentally impactful, it's credible, because these regulated markets provide the guarantees of environmental quality that the project market cannot. They have a long track record of delivering real environmental benefits and have been determined to be the only effective mechanism over the last 20 years that have actually driven down emissions. It's commoditized because it's 1 ton of pure carbon with no other attributes mixed in with the carbon credit, and it has a market-determined price because we select carbon credits based off of what markets they come from. It's accessible to anybody with an internet connection, and it's scalable because we access deep markets that others can't. It's a massive market opportunity. Offsetting is a $2 billion market, trading is a $900 billion market, and there's $50 trillion of assets seeking environmental impacts. Our ecosystem creates a reliable offsetting tool as a supply chain solution for anyone buying carbon credits. It creates liquid trading in an accessible market for all the carbon credits, and it provides an impactful asset management investment tool where we have a deep green investment under the Sustainable Finance Investment Directive of Europe, and we're Article 13 of the Sustainable Development Goals. Our revenue model is simple, fees on and off platform, and in 1 year, we move 1% of the market to the blockchain, we will have 500 million of turnover and 38 million in revenue. I'll pass on the competition. We're long-term colleagues with lots of expertise in finance and carbon markets. We have completed our smart contract. It's been audited. We have approvals from the Swiss government, and we're ready to go. We're raising a $2 million round to support product market fit for our first product, which just launched. We're growing into the trading system, and our ultimate target is the financial markets. So we'll hope you'll join us in minting the currency of the low-carbon economy.
So, do I understand correctly that you don't have any market traction yet?
Yes, actually last week we published our smart contract, minted our first tokens, and we're in the process of executing pilot projects for the offsetting product.
Okay, so what's your strategy there? What do you plan in the following 6 months to get some traction?
We're doing two things simultaneously.
Specifically,
with the offsetting tool, we're developing pilot projects with strategic users who will implement the tool and use it for offsetting. We're starting a marketing campaign for B2C and B2B channel, and working on actually getting using real clients in that space, organically driven outside of friends and family. Simultaneously, we're beta testing the trading platform, which is complete, coding is done, and we have beta users lined up for that. So in 6 months, we'll be able to launch a trading platform along with a full suite of crypto tools for offsetting and pools and derivative structures, and with a native app. So all those things are in process for the trading business. That will be in 6 months. We'll launch that, and we'll continue developing traction with the investment community, which we know from previous experience is a longer lead time. And in some time in the 18 months or 2 years, we'd like to have our first kind of institutional scale test projects on investment.
okay, so who are your strategic users, and what's your target group of the investors you talk about?
Our target users, there's actually 3 different channels because of the offsetting. There's B2B, B2C, B2B. Our ideal target there is a large corporation that already has an offsetting commitment and is unhappy with their current exposure, where they've been buying credits and then getting sued for using the wrong credits. So we're just stepping in as a supply chain solution where supply is retreating and demand is going up. We were talking to companies that have to buy carbon credits in order to get certification for BREEAM or building certificates. So if you want to build, in order to get financing, you have to buy carbon credits as part of that supply chain. So it's structural demand, and we eliminate a long, costly, expensive supply chain with 3 clicks, real-time buying. And then our investor populations, there's actually 3 investor populations we're talking to. Climate impact investors, because we're very green. There's a fintech world, which understands this as a financial tool that allows for risk management and trading and operations. And then there's the blockchain world, which is looking for real-world assets and strategies that bring real-world assets onto the blockchain.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, Alfred, thank you. Question from my side is, so you have these corporates or enterprises, right, that you target. What's the feedback or the validation you have done in so far there, and what would be the implementation time of this?
The feedback has been positive because we're at an inflection point in that market. As I said, there's about 300 million tons a year of offsetting demand. About 80% of that supply chain has become unavailable over the last year because of quality problems in the supply chain. And people like the idea that this is coming from a regulated market where regulators guarantee the quality of the underlying tools, and we create access to it. And we eliminate the need to have a supply chain of buying credits and hoping they're delivered.
Okay, but specifically with how many enterprises you've talked to?
Well, we used to run a business that supplied carbon credits to the business, so we know all of the big players. We've talked to them, any number. And specifically in marketing this product, we probably talked to 10 across conventions where people offset events like this. We've talked to banking. We've talked to the airport of Geneva because we're Swiss-based, which buys carbon credits for their offsetting. And the feedback has been consistently, that's a great idea. As a CFO, I would love to be able to get rid of a team of people running around doing development projects, have 0 financial risk, and be able to buy precisely the amount I need the moment I need it. So the feedback has been good from that.
And in terms of integration, what at least assessment? What do you think it will take to bring this to them?
Integration inside the businesses.
Yeah.
For businesses, there's kind of two strategies. There's some people who just want to buy one-off. I need credits today. We provide that solution instantaneously. And then our platform allows you to also manage a longer-term strategy where you buy credits, you use them as you need them. This is particularly useful for B2B2C, where you want to buy an inventory and then allow your clients to use them in small amounts. But that fully integrates into the management side of the CFO's desk of being able to see this risk and management and have a blockchain transparent public record for your constituency that can independently verify you're doing what you're saying you're doing. So it fully integrates into what they're doing. It just eliminates a lot of cost and risk.
Thank you.
Thank you.